Hello, Forensics fam. I know I said I wasn't going to record many of these, but this one's a long one. I want to make sure we get it right. Forensics fam, we did it. All day long on Saturday, I received compliments from judges, from coaches, from competitors, and from people just around Aquinas about how well our tournament was running. Thank you for making me look so good. If you keep making me look good all year, we're going to get along just fine. Most of this email is for our students. Parents should read through the tournament policy part because it affects families. You can read the whole thing. Most of the rest of this is for the players. This email references the super document, and in case you forgot to bookmark it, the link is included in the email, and you should hang on to that link. We'll use it over and over. Tournament policy. We are at the point of the season where it's time to make some decisions. Expect to get our whole season planned by February 13th. Though we still have some time to make additions or switch events later, put them on your family calendar now if they aren't already. Mandatory tournaments are mandatory, but family lives are complicated and none of us can do the impossible. If you have to move to a different day, we can. I'm not a monster. We can make it work. But it hurts our team because it means we don't send a full roster to tournaments. If you can't go to a mandatory tournament, then I need to know by February 13th and have a replacement picked. We do not plan on doing a lot of switching. Events. Each member of our team does 2 individual events. IEs are things other than debate events. That's what we saw at Aquinas on Saturday. At least one must be memorized. That's original oratory, Info 10, the humorous, dramatic, or duo interp, and U.S. or international extemp. The other event may or may not be memorized. It's up to you. Those include the non-memorized ones include poetry, prose, POI, the program of oral interp, and impromptu. Scripts. OO and Info need to write their pieces. These are 8 to 10 minutes, but a rough draft you should shoot for about 12 minutes. That's around 2,000 words or about 8 pages double-spaced. That seems like a lot, but it gives us room to make edits. For DI, duo, poetry, or prose, those performers need to pick their pieces. This is sometimes a slow process. We have a number of scripts on our shelves, or you can find them on Forensics Fanatics. There's a super document script info for login credentials. There's the vault, and then there's also the database. You start the database to go narrow down your scripts, and then you go find them in the vault. Extemp and impromptu need to start putting together their files. This part takes a little guidance, but it's really self-directed once the season's momentum starts. Tournament signups. Sign up for tournaments on the super document. You find your name and enter the event in the space where it says, sign up for Saturday, IE number 1, etc. You should just sign up for events, even if you don't think you're ready. No one ever feels like they're ready. You just got to start. Ready enough is ready enough. There is an optional tournament on February 10th at Olathe South. This is a great chance to try out an event that is half ready for performance. I would really prefer to take multiple people to optional tournaments to make our time and investment work, so please ask or tell someone to go sign up with you. There are 2 online tournaments scheduled. For these, we submit recordings to be judged. They are very good for getting feedback and to hear from judges across the state. You don't need to sign up for those at this time. They're included so we don't forget about them. There are also some spots for those for online tournaments for debate. They handle a little differently. Those aren't pre-recorded. You do those live. Forensics debate. LDers should expect to perform at the mandatory tournaments. I've heard from some people they need to reschedule to a different day. We can switch to one of the optional tournaments if you're going to go to an optional tournament on Saturday. There are some Zoom LD tournaments on Mondays. Probably, they kind of depend a little bit. You're welcome to sign up for them, assuming it doesn't go over the CASHA limit, which I'll explain below. Sign-up limits. You may only sign up for 1 debate event and 2 IEs. Some tournaments allow people to enter 3 IEs, but we don't do that unless you're at least a third-year forensicator and only when the host tournament allows. KSHSAA, CASHA, limits play to 8 tournaments, not including CASHA State, At St. James Academy, 4 tournaments are mandatory and 2 are entered online. That leaves you with 2 optional tournaments if you wish. We would prefer you go to actual optional tournaments, but if you don't, we'll enter you in a couple of more online tournaments to make your maximum and to get more judging feedback. We obviously prefer in-person tournaments, but we won't pass up the chance for judging feedback whenever we can get it. The 8-tournament limit is counted by host and date, not just by date. So if you debate and don't do IEs, you've burned a tournament, and vice versa. In the same week, if you do LD in person but IEs online or the other way around, that's 2 tournaments, even though they happen in the same week. Likewise, if you do LD at one tournament and IEs at another, that would be rare, but it does happen from time to time. Even if they're in the same weekend, that's 2 tournaments. And it's weird, I know, but that's the way the rule is. All of this seems so complicated, but I promise it won't be complicated once the season starts. Keep an eye on the deadlines we discussed today in class, and it'll work out fine. St. Columba of Iona, patron of St. James Academy, speech and debate, pray for us. Thanks.